Hello, everyone. We're live. Welcome, welcome. We're back with an actual game. Um, Thank you so much for joining us. Welcome. We're the Voidcast. Well, not all of us, but the channel you're watching is the Voidcast, and we play games here on this channel and talk about games, which we think is fun. And tonight we'll be playing the new game Avatar Legends, the RPG by Magpie Games. Successfully kickstarted about 2 or 3 months ago. They were so kind to put out these free quick starts, so you could get a taste of the rules and everything you could do in this universe. And as a big Avatar Last Airbender fan, I really wanted to play this game, and I invited some awesome friends to play it with me. So we have, as always, the amazing Ash, our game master. Hey Ash, is there anything you would like to plug or say?
That put me on the spot because I was in the middle of thinking of something. I tell you
don't
what,
have to. We can just go on.
I'm going to leave that to Crimson because he is my partner in crime in that. So
Well,
everyone knows me. I'm British.
okay, well, we're that's what most people know you from, just being British and all. All right. Well, next up then is Crimson Rockstar, joining us for the first time. Welcome.
Mhm.
I'm super happy to have you here. And yeah, maybe you can say something about the Fireside Portal.
The Fireside Portal has been a fun little project that me and Ash have been working on together. Our goal is real simple. We take a band of four merry adventurers and send them through as many different stories as possible. The idea is a consistent group of consistent party, nicely balanced and everything, but have a different DM each week and come up with a fun challenge of seeing the different skill levels of DMs and offer them advice and basically just offer a show that's a different twist on D&D since persistent campaigns can be a little hard to get into. So perpetual one shots are a great way to like invest into a show without having to know what's going on the week prior.
Yeah, I love that idea, and I'm definitely going to watch it. I'm going to watch it a bit later than the actual live stream because it's going to be in the middle of the night for me each week, which I know that somebody here is also going to have a problem with, Ash. But I'm super stoked that you're doing it. Looking
I'll live
forward
with
to it. And last but certainly not least, as always, we are joined by our amazing friends from Topdown Tabletop and their newest member, Phalanx.
Hey there.
Is
I'll
there
say something.
Yeah, if you want.
Yeah, so I am from Topdown Tabletop, and I just recently joined. I play a Coon, who is a Goliath barbarian in the Fortune and Favors campaign, and they're actually going to have a new campaign starting this Saturday, 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. So if you're interested in that, come watch it.
Yes, I recommend everyone to go and check it out. Top Down Tabletop. If you're not following it already, then go do that. You can do it even right now. We will still be here in 5 seconds when you return. Also, go follow the Fireside Portal also on Twitch as the Fireside Portal. So you can do that as well. And we'll be here in 10 seconds because that's how long that will take to go there and hit that follow button. So, wait, am I mocking somebody's Dutch accent? Certainly not.
So rude.
Certainly not. Because then I would have to mock myself as well, I guess. But anyway, also I want to give a shout out to everyone who's already in chat. There's so many awesome people already here. Can't wait to play this game. Can't wait to test this system. We are familiar with it a bit because we played the Hogwarts one shot. At least me and Ash are. We played the Hogwarts one shot 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. which also uses the Apocalypse system, the 2d6 system. But there's a lot of different mechanics added to this game, so I'm super excited. Without further ado, if anyone has anything to add. Nothing? No? Do we think
That's
do we think everyone has returned from hitting that follow button on Twitch for the other channels?
It's possible.
Yeah, I guess they are. So I'm going to throw it to the Avatar Legends intro that I made, and then Ash will kick us off. So here goes the intro cinematic sequence. And we're back. I'm trying to do these countdowns, but usually I start too late or too early or just stop halfway through, so it never quite works, but it doesn't really matter at all. Ash, I'm throwing it to you.
Okay. It is a chill day in Taku, the earthen city of the Badger Moles. New Year's celebrations are gearing up, with the auspicious 1200 MC year. For those in the know, that is 4213 BG. The city looks resplendent from the docks to the back streets. Paint shines on all of the buildings. Lanterns are hung, a hint to the evening festivities to come. Before the nighttime revels, the market is set up. It's full of exotic wares, from penguins of the south and even tame dragon moose from the Fire Nation, all for sale. Of course, the herbs of the Institute take centre stage, as benefits local production of such high quality and international renown. The festivities also include the trials. These are seen by some as the highlight of the day, sometimes running from sunrise to sunset. Hopefuls from all over the known world come to exhibit their skills and be accepted for training by the masters. Healers, hunters, sailors, all looking to exhibit their skills. And of course, the benders, all compete for favour and recognition. There is a large paddock set up just to the eastern side of the market, and a young airbender hopeful stands awaiting his turn to show off his skills. And if he'd like to introduce himself.
Okay, so if you were to look at this individual, you'd see them wearing the standard, airbender robes, the shaved head and the traditional markings, and just trying to stay warm in this cold weather, also hugging the staff that he wields.
So, Master Dong Tai of the Southern Air Temple. The Southern Air Temple is one of the older establishments, the Northern Air Temple having only been completed in the last 15 years. You, hailing from the north, are trying to impress the Masters of the South so that you can be trained in ever-increasing difficulty and skill level with the airbenders. Master Dong Tai is an old man with a white beard and a large circular amulet that hangs around his neck. And he bows to you as you enter the arena and says, "Well, I can see that you are already marked as a bender of air. We would like to see how you get on with some of the skills of our tribe in the south. And he raises a hand, and down into the paddock descends a flying bison. Please, show us how you handle a flying bison.
Okay, I'll also bow, and then I'll say, "Yes, master." And so, okay, the Choki is my character's name, and he's going to walk up to the bison and try to climb on it and try to, have it do some aerial stuff.
Hey, so I think what we're doing here is relying on your skills and training.
All right, and that's just 2d6.
Yeah, so it's a 2d6 with focus,
Okay.
and then we can find out how you get on.
So that's 9 for the dice, and if I remember correctly, I put +2 into focus, so that's a total of 11.
Excellent. So that is a pretty impressive success. You more than comfortable. So you ascend up to the bison, and I will let someone who loves Avatar and has always wanted to, please ascend into the air using the air bison. That would be over to you.
Okay, so I'm gonna do some like somersaults and just gliding on its side, and then when I'm done, I'm gonna slowly go back to the ground.
Okay, so as you approach the ground, you notice that the two behind you in the line are whispering together. And one of them, while Master Dongtai is kind of watching your landing, starts to move his hands in one of the air katas. And you sense a crosswind come flying from your right-hand side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say that you can attempt to stay on the bison, or you can try and do something else. So what would you like to do as this crosswind comes across?
Do I know if if I get off the bison, will the bison be all right?
It'll probably be fine. It's just more. It's as though it's focused on you, trying to knock you out of the saddle.
Okay, I'd like to do like a backflip, and sort of how in the Airbender he's like on that circle of air is what I'd like to try and do.
All right.
Okay, so I think here we're probably pushing our luck. So would you like to roll with passion to see how that happens?
Okay, let me check. That's not something I'm good at, but I'll certainly... Oh, no, I actually do have a +1 in that, so I'll try it anyway.
You are actually good at it.
Total of 9.
Okay, so that is imperfect. So I think what happens is you attempt to do a backflip. You're not going to injure yourself in any way, but I think you just end up sort of falling on your back. Not hard, but sort of, almost like you fall on your back and you sort of skid down through the dirt a little bit. It's not graceful by any sort of show of the imagination. And Master Dongtai just kind of shakes his head. And as he turns, you notice that stood next to him, she wasn't there before, is a lady with purple hair and very, very striking purple eyes. And she kind of leans into Master Dongtai and whispers something to him. And he kind of nods for a second, and then she holds up something in her hand that you can't see. And he takes one look at it and does a very deep bow to the lady, and then moves towards the next candidate. And she comes over to you, and she says, so why did you fall?
I need more experience.
I think you're plenty experienced enough, young one. I don't think the Southern Temple is for you.
Why would you say that?
I represent someone of importance. And I am looking for some young people, such as yourself, to perform a task for us. And should you perform that task, we will then be responsible for your training from now on. How does that sound?
If you're not from the Southern Temple, then where are you from that would provide better training?
She opens her palm to reveal a coin with the character A stamped on it. You would know what that coin represents. It is the mark of the Avatar.
Wow.
Would you be able to explain this task to me?
Once we have all of the recruits, I will let you know. But please, go and wait at the restaurant just across the street, and I will find you there.
Right. Thank you.
So, oh, go on.
I was just going to say, yeah, I'll start heading in that direction.
Excellent. So, we shift to another part of the market where a fierce battle is going on. A young waterbender stood next to a well is making complex movements and drawing a large ball of water out of the well, while at the same time a young firebender smiles, facing her down. And if our firebender would like to introduce himself.
As he grins at this waterbender in her seemingly primitive skills, he just pulls out what looks to be like a scimitar and just kind of readies himself, not even relying on his true firebender power, as he believes he can dance through the waves and get to her quickly without causing too much of an issue. He is stylized in a black vest, sleeves wide open, and he just head shaved and a nice pointed beard. He's just ready to. Well, waterbender, it's your move.
So off to one side, we find Liang Bei, a stern lady in her sort of mid-30s, hair drawn back into a very tight bun, wearing plain robes, carrying only a staff. She represents the Western Collective, a group that has grown up out of the friendship that exists between the Southern Water Tribe and the Fire Nation. And they take recruits to only the best to sort of serve as peacekeepers between the two nations. And she lifts up her white scarf and drops it on the floor, signaling the beginning of combat. So, the way that combat works is that you choose a move that you would like to do, and I'm going to write down what your opponent is going to do. We then reveal it at the same time, or one after the other, and then go from there. Okay?
Okay.
So, pick your combat move.
I naturally would want So water better to make the move first. That way I can react appropriately and try to move in as quickly as possible to get through her defenses.
Okay. So, have you picked a move?
That would be... Let's see here. So I guess this would be considered a pressure attack.
Okay. So you're going for an advance and attack pressure.
Yeah.
Okay. I have picked advance and attack smash.
Ooh.
So what my character is going to do is she has the water ball that she's just pulled out of the well, and she's going to fire the ball at your feet, trying to turn the ground to mud so that you slip over.
Mm-hmm.
And what are you going to do?
So she's aiming towards the ground. I will look towards any sort of high elevation nearby.
Mm-hmm.
And if worse comes to worse, I will do a little bit of firebending to try to jump a little further and faster than she was expecting.
Okay. So make your roll.
Okay, am I rolling with a passion on this one then?
Rolling with passion, that's correct.
Okay. Oh, okay.
So I rolled a 9, and I'm adding 2. So I'm on an 11.
All right. You are definitely higher than me. I rolled a 7, and I have a -1 for passion.
Okay. So, what happens is that you try to jump out of the way, but the water ball has already exploded at your feet.
Hmm.
And so you've just gone straight down onto your back. Okay?
Yeah.
So you are going to be at a slight disadvantage, and I'm going to say that you have picked up a condition. And I'm just going to make sure I get this correct, because it's a brand new system. I would hate to get people's conditions incorrect.
Probably impaired, where I'm slowed or off balance.
That is exactly what I was looking for. And it is, yes, impaired.
Oh, wow. Do we all have different conditions that we can get as well? I don't think that's not on my that's not on my character sheet. I can't get impaired.
That was on that separate role page that Ash has made.
I'll tell you what. Where was that? I had that.
So we're playing.
Yes, yeah.
It's a status, not a condition.
Status, not a condition.
Okay.
That's what I was looking for.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
So you're slowed or off balance. So -1 fatigue, and -2 to all physical actions. Okay.
Okay.
Right. What would you like to do next?
I will kind of get up to my knees, put the sword back on my back. Apparently, that's not going to be an option in this fight. And I'm going to focus a little bit, so I'm going to just kind of meditate and watch their movements and see if there's a weakness of some sort I can exploit.
Okay. So she's going to try and press the advantage with a strike. So I'm going to be rolling with passion. You are going to be rolling with focus.
Okay.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
I rolled an 11 on the dice.
I have a good dice rolls here.
I rolled an 11 on the dice with my
I rolled
+2.
a 4 on the dice, and so my modifier doesn't even matter on that one.
So, I think what she does is she leaps high into the air, dragging more water with her from the well. And it turns into almost like a fist of water. And she just smashes down onto the ground next to you, and the whole tidal wave of water just comes crashing down on top of you, leaving you sprawled upon the floor. And as she does that, you hear Liang Bei say, "That is enough." And the waterbender immediately drops to her knee, and Liang Bei points to her and says, "You are the winner, and she'll be the new champion," and turns with her and walks away, leaving you on the ground.
Yep.
So, as you're lying there dripping with water, and people are sort of starting to drift away now, looking for another source of entertainment, a lady with purple hair and purple eyes approaches you and holds out a hand to help you up from the water.
Kind of just look at her curiously, and then I allow the help. And as soon as I'm standing, I'll use a little bit of fire to just kind of dry myself off. That way I'm not soaking wet.
So, she gives you an appraising look and says, "Why did you allow her to strike first?"
It's important to understand your enemy's movements.
What were you looking for?
Potential weakness. That way I could retaliate appropriately.
She sort of nods a little. Sometimes spirit is harder to train than physical prowess. I think you would do well training with me. If you are willing, please go and wait in the tavern on the other side of the square, and I will come for you. I have a job, and should you succeed in that job, we will then be able to take you forward with some more training.
Well, can I try to sense the motive of this individual?
Yes, so what you can do is you can assess the situation. So that would be rolling on creativity.
7.
Well, so you would get one of your questions answered. So you may ask any question, which will then lead you to determine whether she's telling the truth or not.
If I may, why are you interested in me?
The person that I represent is interested in passing on skills and knowledge to a younger group, so that in the future they may be of use to the whole of the world, not just the Fire Nation and the Southern Water Tribe. She has gifted me the opportunity to go and find these young people. I think you would make an excellent addition.
Well, I don't have much else going on for me right now, so guess I'll meet you at the tavern.
Okay. So, as we leave that scene, we now come to what is the central square of the market. Being an earthen city, the Earthbenders are amongst the most prized and respected of all of the benders in this area. And there is a large arena with 10 to 15 young Earthbenders, all trying to prove their skills. And in amongst them is one of our...
Yes, so amongst them is a short, stocky, muscular, dark-haired individual by the name of Kai Buma. And he is there eagerly awaiting the task that will be set before him. He wears the usual greens and browns of a Earth Nation citizen.
So, the mighty Hao Feng, 7 feet tall, stripped to the waist, tanned, scarred, muscular, a true force of nature, strides purposefully into the center of the ring, and in his powerful voice cries out, "Earthbenders, your first task. Create an arch out of stone. The fastest wins. Go."
I immediately slam my fist together and into the ground, and as I slam my fist into the ground, I pull my one fist to my other, and I reach up and form an arc of stone. Or at least I try to form an arc.
You certainly try. So would you like to give me some sort of trying to shape the very earth that you stand on roll?
Sure, which would be... I don't know, I'll just roll and then...
I think we're looking at passion here. With the speed and gutso that you've gone into that, this is just going to be a passion roll. You're just relying purely on heart
I
and
imagine
training.
that all everything that my character does is based on passion, so... that's a 10. So that's a... because... and correct me if I'm wrong, but... so I have a +1 towards force, which is also passion, I think, and I got +2 for passion, rolled a 7, 10 in total.
Okay, that's correct. So, 10 total. You do succeed in creating an arch, and it is faster than anybody else. And Master Hao Feng comes over and takes a look at the arch, nods his approval, and this is for the first time you notice that someone else entered the ring with him. A lady of indeterminate age with purple hair and purple eyes. And Hao Feng just turns, nods, and then goes to inspect the next arch.
Is that it? I say to the air.
So the lady with purple hair walks over and says, "Master Hao Feng is impressed."
Well, I'm glad to hear it, but I thought I would be, or I expected I would be like wrestling a badger mole or something. This was it?
I'm sure that will be on the cards for those later in the challenges.
Okay.
But I think my master will make better use of your skills, and Hao Feng is in agreement.
Who might your master be?
So she reaches into her pocket and pulls out and reveals a golden disc with the character A inscribed onto it, the mark of the Avatar.
Kai is obviously a bit flabbergasted, taken aback, unsure of what to do. You mean to tell me you work with the Avatar herself?
She is an old friend of mine.
Well, anything to help out the Avatar. I mean, point in any direction and I will go.
She smiles. And just before she takes your arm, she looks at the arch and says, I don't think they're going to be needing that anymore.
I grab hold of the arch, and you can just see all the stones sort of melt along my arm and go back into the ground as I take her arm and let me be led to wherever I'm going.
So, the tavern that she pointed out to you is certainly not the biggest in the area, but it's definitely one of the busiest. It's mid-morning. All the revelers are gearing up for the night's festivities. They've had the benders to watch and entertain them during the morning. A lot of people are getting quite drunk on rice wine. It's going to be a long, long day. As the lady with the purple hair and the earthbender enter, the other two are kind of in different areas of the bar, not really knowing that either was supposed to be there with the other. So she looks at both of you and motions towards a door just off to the side of the bar.
Choki is gonna get up from the seat he was sitting in and slowly make his way over.
Mm-hmm.
Sitting at the bar and seeing the signals, like, oh, okay, interesting. Just kind of do a quick scan of the room, see if anybody else is really paying attention. And if it doesn't look like it, I'll slip into the same room.
The room is a quiet parlour off the side of the bar. Closing the door kind of blocks most of the sound. You've still got the sort of roar of increasingly drunken people and games and gambling going on behind it. This is the first time you can get a really good look at your hostess. As I've mentioned, purple hair, purple eyes, indeterminate age. She could be 15, she could be 40. She kind of has one of those ageless, eternal faces. She motions to 3 seats on one side of a table and takes a seat facing you on the other side.
Before I sit down, I turn to the other two individuals and I stretch out my arm and I say, Kai, pleased to meet you. Can you believe it? The Avatar herself has requested our presence. What a great day.
I'll reach my hand out too and shake your hand. I'll be like, my name is Choki.
Oh yes, nice to meet you, Choki. I'm Kai. And then I reach my hand out to you.
It's Nico. Just shake hands.
Nice to meet you, Nico. Can you believe our luck? And to imagine that I would have gone to one of the boring earthbending armies or whatever, but to work with the Avatar herself. Wow. Just wow. And I sit down.
Yeah, Nico turns to the purple hair lady. He's like, Avatar? Is that what we're in for?
Did you not know?
No. I didn't ask that question, apparently.
Interesting.
So, having taken your seats, your hostess reaches below the table and pulls out 4 almost identical large wooden cylinders made out of bamboo. And she looks at each of you in turn and says, "My name is Shaolin. As you are aware, I work for the Avatar. She has instructed me to find some recruits that she can begin to train for her replacement, so that when her replacement is found, you may instruct them in the ways of bending. I myself am a waterbender. I have chosen one of each of the main elements. Now, to these cylinders. Each has an ancient marking adorning the outside. One for each of the main elements: fire, air, water, and earth. They were recovered 3 nights ago from some rogue airbenders an hour north of the city. They were preaching that the new Northern Air Temple is an abomination by preaching peace and harmony throughout the world. They were ranting that the sky is above all, and therefore they should rule all. These are dangerous ideas. When they were cornered, they defended these cylinders to the last. And we believe they reveal the location of their lair. We have so far been unable to work out how they work. Take the 4 cylinders, head north, find their lair, capture or kill these heretics, and the Avatar will be most grateful and willing to take you on as her apprentices.
Wow, what a great honor. Yes, of course. I mean, yes, right? And I look at the others.
So you said that you have yet to determine where the layer is. Is that correct?
We believe it will be somewhere near where they were captured, but have as yet been unable to find exactly where it is.
And it has something to do with these cylinders, then?
We believe so.
And you can lead us to that spot?
I can.
So, Kai, you're an earthbender then?
That is correct.
And Nico, are you a firebender then?
Just holding my hand and a little bit of flame start dancing.
Your mark will signify you as an airbender, so I assume you are an airbender.
Yes, that is correct.
Can you imagine it like a waterbender with airbender markings? That would be crazy, right?
That'd be funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can help with this task.
So I pick up one of the cylinders. It's just bamboo, and I sort of turn it over in my hand, see if anything falls out.
So, inspecting the cylinder, you can see that it has the earthbender, or the signal of earth, I should say, across the top. As you turn it in your hand, you see that it's covered in strange symbols and markings, grooves and indentations, but they seem to be meaningless.
Nothing.
Seeing that Kai has picked up one of them, I'm going to follow suit and try and, make sense of whatever's on the cylinder.
Okay, so picking up the Airbender Cylinder, which I assume is the one you would naturally go for.
Sure.
Again, turning it in your hand, it has a completely different set of markings, grooves, indentations all the way around the cylinder, but seems to make no sense to you.
Maybe we'll find more clues if we get closer to where we think the layer is at.
I'm really not paying attention to any of the writing. I'm still shaking it to see if something will fall apart or if I can like unscrew the top or something.
No, completely hollow.
I can look through it.
Yeah.
Oh, still I will try and see if anything will.
So if it's hollow, I'm gonna just try and push some air through it, see if
It makes quite a pleasant sound, but otherwise, nothing happens.
it's worth a shot.
I blow through mine to like a didgeridoo to the trying. Probably more spit coming out of the other end than sound, but.
Can you point it in the other direction, please?
Oh yeah, of course. Sorry.
Yeah. Got to remain COVID safe.
I dare to ask, but seeing as these are bamboo, as anyone, were you too afraid to try and use fire on them? Maybe it would activate it somehow?
Well, water, earth, and air failed to activate the others. We thought there was no need to try and destroy one of them.
Fair enough. It was. So did you only try the elements with the corresponding cylinder?
Yes.
I'm gonna hold mine up to Kai and be like, "Want to switch?"
Right, I take yours and start blowing through that one. or you want me to try something else? I don't know. Wait. I grab hold of it and then touch the ground and try to force some sand or earth through it.
Okay, again, it makes a noise a bit like falling rain, but otherwise has no effect.
The air
Yeah,
one
worth a
makes,
shot.
The air one makes a noise like falling rain.
Because you've basically just made a rain stick, right? You've got a stick of bamboo that you've just put particulate matter through.
Absolutely right. You are correct, sir. I keep the sand in and just close it off with both my hands and go.
All right, I think maybe we should. Oh,
So,
you
other
were
than
going to-
forming a band, it has no effect.
Shaolin, what are we waiting on?
We are only waiting on the dragon moose that have been ordered to take you north. I have some other duties to attend to, but if they will take you to the position that you need to start from, where we recovered these.
Excellent. This is so exciting.
So she leads you outside, and there are 3 dragon moose, fully provisioned up with bedrolls, water skins, rations. They don't seem to have a leader, but they all seem to be pointing in the same direction and ready to leave.
All right, the earth underneath me rises up a bit as I create a sort of stool for myself to get up on the dragon moose.
So because you've tried that, let's rely on your skills and training to see if you can actually pull that off and look slick.
Oh, okay. Skills and training. Let's.
So roll with focus.
Oh yeah, I'm super good at focus. That's a 2.
So I think what happens is in Kai's inimitable mannerisms, you are just you just really want to get started, and you end up catapulting yourself over the top of the dragon.
Yeah, totally. I just launched myself up and over the dragon moose.
I just look back at Shaolin and I'm like, this is our earthbender.
I'm now on the other side, like face first in the ground, legs sticking up awkwardly. One second, guys.
Hi, are you all right?
Yeah, I'm fine. I get up and it might be just like a little bit of blood or something from the head wound, but I just wipe it off and I try again, of course.
Absolutely.
Ooh, that's an 8.
Which is enough to succeed in this occasion. It's not a good success, so I think you're a little bit dazed. You're a little bit sort of, maybe a little bit punch drunk from landing face first. So it kind of, you manage to get one leg swung up, and you've landed backwards on your dragon moose.
I just love how every time you start talking and I get this idea for I am totally backwards on this thing. I don't even have to mention it. You just say all these things for me. It's amazing how you do it.
I think we've played together too much.
I'm totally backwards on this thing.
Yeah,
I think absolutely. I will remain seated backwards as well.
So Choki, remembering that the last time he tried to show off, is just gonna, climb on the dragon moose the normal way.
I'm not gonna make you roll for that, funnily enough. I'm just gonna say that happened.
Nico can't really help himself. He's needs to be a little bit more impressive than he was earlier in the day, so he's gonna try to rocket and spin up on top.
Excellent. So, would you say that is pushing your luck or skills and training?
Probably my skills and training.
Excellent. So, roll with focus then, please.
10.
Absolutely.
Nice fiery spiral and then land correctly on the dragon moose.
Which, being a creature of the Fire Nation, absolutely not bothered by the fact that someone just bent fire next to it. Doesn't even bat an eyelid.
Mm-hmm.
So almost without ceremony and without sort of anything, the dragon moose just immediately start riding north out of the city. It takes mere minutes before you are approaching the outer gate. Yep, that's pretty much what it looks like. The market is left behind you. All of the traffic is coming towards you. So you're able just to sort of slip down the side of the street, straight towards the gate, straight out of the gate, and off into the countryside. The dragon moose seem to know where they're going, and it is about an hour's ride, almost due north along the road, After sort of 10-15 minutes, the crowds are being left behind as the people are sort of entering the city. They're not sort of hanging around outside anymore. And you are left in peaceful Earth country. Is there anything you'd like to do on the ride there?
I'm holding on for dear life because I can't reach the.
I'd probably just take a small bit of ration and start having a snack.
Okay, brilliant.
As soon as I see you do that, I they have food on these things, and then I reach into one of the saddlebags as well and start munching, just really sort of cramming it up my face.
Okay. After about an hour, the dragon moose slow, and then they veer just off the path into a clearing. I wouldn't say you're in a wood, but you're certainly getting towards the foothills of the mountains away in the background, and the trees are starting to get a little bit thicker. But just off to the side is a sort of clearing, bit of a meadow, and clearly the remnants of a battle, with scorch marks, fallen trees, and just general battle detritus.
All right. Seems like this is the place, and I jump off my dragon moose.
Mm-hmm.
Does the battle, does it look like it was recent?
It certainly looks like it's happened in the last sort of week, which would square with what Shaolin told you.
Okay, so I guess we're getting off here then.
Yeah, I think let's examine the place.
Yeah, Choki is gonna dismount the dragon moose, and I guess gonna start trying to look around for any clues.
Hey, so in line with sort of the system, there's a few basic moves that you can take. So, if you'd like to look through the sheet and have a quick think about what you would like to do in this situation, if you're stuck for things to do, you can always take the help action. That's going to give somebody else a +1 to whatever they decide to do.
I guess, would it be like assess a situation? Would that be...
Yes, so that allows you to ask a question or two of me to then find out what's going on. It's almost like an investigation role in any other system.
Okay. It's not my forte, but...
So would anybody else like to assist then?
Yeah, I would like to assist, but yeah.
Okay.
I'm just walking around, like casually kicking against rocks and things that are left over from the battle, and yeah.
Okay. So you'll be rolling on creativity.
Yep, I got a total of 7.
Total of 7. So with the help action, you're able to mark 1 fatigue and give them +1 to their roll. We know that that's not going to get any more information out of us, so it's probably not worth taking at this point.
No. Are you allowed to choose that after the roll?
Yeah, it does say in the rules you can give them +1 after the roll.
Yeah. All right.
So it kind of works in your favor.
Yeah.
So ask away.
So I'm gonna lift up the earthbending cylinder that I took from Kai earlier and see if there are any resemblance of the markings on the cylinder in the area.
There's certainly nothing on the cylinders that are anywhere around here, but what you can see is sort of in the center of the battle, there's clearly like indentations where the cylinders were lying. And you know what? Yeah, you can see a couple of the marks. So from the pitched battle, that's where they're lying for a 7.
Do you think we should put these cylinders back?
Well,
See what happens, or is that?
well,
Do we think that something bad might happen?
Well, at first I thought they would contain a map in the cylinder. That's why I was shaking it to see if anything would come out, but clearly there's no map. So then I was thinking maybe it's a key of some kind, and then if it's a key, then there probably should be a lock, right? So yeah, if there's any place that these things would fit in, then I just say we jam them in and see if it opens anything. So if what you see there can hold these cylinders, or it's trying.
Nico, are you all right with that? There's these indentations in the middle of the battle area.
Yeah, sure. And I'll just hand over to cylinders. Nico's already trying to scan the perimeter and see where the trails might have gone off to, of possible locations of like the hideout.
Did Shaolin give us I guess, did we take all of the cylinders with us?
Yes, you took all.
Okay.
I'm carefully
Yeah.
assuming that we did.
All right.
Yeah.
Choki is going to just go over there and start putting cylinders in the indentations.
Okay, so what it looks like is a waterbender made so much of a mess that all of the earth is still wet, and is sort of muddy clay underfoot. And what's clearly happened is the cylinders have fallen onto the floor and made an indentation in the muddy clay.
So this wasn't.
Wait,
This was just where they were recovered.
Oh, okay.
That doesn't hurt to try, right? And I just tried to jam the water bending bamboo scroll thing that I have into the earth.
You're an earthbender, right? Is there any way you can feel if there's any connection under there?
Wait. I put on my goggles and and you can see Kai go like this, and I want to just disappear underneath the earth.
We're going full earth mole.
Yeah, full badger mole.
Excellent.
Blind.
I think that's going to be relying on skills and training.
Yes.
You'd like to make me a focus roll.
Yes, but wait. Aha. I have the walls can't hold me ability, which means that any skills and training roll that I need to make, I can make it with passion instead of focus. So I'm going to be rolling with passion. Because
Such a passionate individual.
Let's be honest, that wasn't a well thought out plan. That's an 8 plus 3 for 11 this time.
You go burying like a demented mole. You're just gone. What you notice is that the ground is incredibly soft clay.
Alright.
Almost a building clay, actually. But obviously over the years, no one's ever mined it, so it's sat there for a while. But you find this super easy.
Alright.
You just go tunneling straight through, pop up on the other side. Okay, so, well, there's nothing down there, but it's beautiful building clay.
I relay this to the rest of the group. I didn't find anything, but the clay here is amazing. Like you could build entire cities from this clay. It's or pots or pans, or like I can imagine a pottery scene, right, where you make some pottery with this clay. It's
I guess
Yep.
we'll have to consider that later. If this isn't a place where we can stick the cylinders into, perhaps we should start here and see if there are any other clues branching off from this area.
So, while Pi is burrowing, I should say, and I'm going to read this from the chat, like Winnie the Pooh's gopher, which is why I was
Hey,
giggling.
that works well.
That's correct. One of you is actually kind of wandering around the perimeter, sort of generally checking out for clues. What I'd like you to do,
Like a smart person.
like a smart person, what I'd
Military
like you to
training will
do
do that for you.
is, could you roll me on... I think we're going to go with relying on skills and training again. Being an ex-military person, being on lookout, being definitely in your wheelhouse.
Be a 6.
Yeah, 6. So, what you do not notice, because you're on the western side of the clearing, is 2 airbenders and 2 cultists come charging into the clearing, eyes aglow, making a beeline straight for the 2 in the center and the 4 cylinders. So,
Yep.
being the closest and not covered in clay, I'm going to say that Choki will be going first, Kai will be going second, and then Nico will be going third. What I'd like you to do, you've got 2 airbenders and 2 cultists charging across the clearing towards you. The clearing itself is not that big, so you're going to be able to move to anywhere in the clearing and perform any action you see fit. I've got their actions written down, and they will be going at a similar time to you. So,
So we just pick one of the moves and...
yeah, so you decide what you would like to do. And I will be coming to Choki first.
Alright, I don't know how this works, but I don't know if this is a thing where I step in, like I'm wondering if I can use the divert ability now, or if that's like a reaction sort of thing.
The divert ability from your character sheet.
From the Guardian's fighting technique.
Yeah, just read it out.
It's step into the way of blows intended for allies.
Okay, so that is, you can use that as a reaction.
Okay.
So, if you would like to take an action that sets that up, so you could assess the situation, you could do some other technique that you've got written down.
That's the only specific technique. Let's see here.
So there are other things you could do. You could bolster or hinder.
Can you retaliate? It's steal yourself from their blows, and when they inflict fatigue.
That is something you can do. So you can defend a maneuver, so you're then ready to make that strike.
Yeah.
Okay.
So just roll with focus.
Okay. So what I'll tell you now what the 2 cultists running towards you are going to do. They are going to go for a pressure. So they're going to both run at you and try to put you off whatever it is you were going to do at the time by intimidation. What they're going to try and intimidate you to do is to stop you from striking. So you cannot take that action next turn if they succeed. Okay?
Fine by me.
So roll the dice.
Hope for success. Not a success.
I'm
So
rolling
what?
pretty well.
4, 5, 6. Total of 6.
So I have a 9 on the dice, which is going to succeed, because they have no modifiers to this. So, they successfully stop you from performing a strike action in your next turn. Okay?
Okay.
Next up, then, is somebody covered in mud and clay.
Yes, as you said, I am covered in mud and clay, so I throw my arms forward and I clap my hands together, and all this clay just sort of sticks together as a giant ball of stone, and I throw that with force, throw it towards the closest airbender, I even, so I do a strike action, and I even want to mark one fatigue to sort of hammer them with blows as I split the rock down the middle and just pound, try to slam both of them into
Okay.
the first.
So, the first airbender, I wasn't going to talk about the second airbender, but as you've gone for both of them, the first airbender was going to go for Caesar position. So they were going to try and take up a position between you and Nico, so that he was going to split you off.
Or between, like, where Nico is further away.
Yeah, so Nico's on the other side of the clearing. You guys are sort of in the middle of the clearing. So he was going to try and take up a position there. And the other one was going to go for a strike directly at you. So I'm going to roll for... I'd let you roll first, and that's going to determine whether any of my actions succeed, considering you've gone for the hammer attack.
That's a 10, a 6 and a 1, plus 3.
Okay, so to reposition, I roll a 4. And to strike, I roll a 7, which is plus 2, so that's a 9, which again is not quite good enough. So, I think what happens is my two airbenders, one of them is trying to take off with his kite, and the other one was creating a swirling vortex that was going to try and lift you off the floor. While both of them are doing that, they get hit in the face by a rock. So, the one that was attempting to fly is now off balance. And therefore impaired. And the other one is stunned. So they will not be able to act or respond because they've just been hit in the face with a hammer attack.
Awesome.
Which means that Nico is going to get a free strike at this if he goes for the benders. The cultists have successfully surrounded Choki.
Alrighty. Yep, so it's one of those days. Nico is going to grab a sword and then just kind of try to rock it over and seize. Try to. Let's see here. Yeah, I think seize the position was the correct thing to do for.
Move to a new location and engage with a foe.
Right. And we're going to go try to land by the bender that's next to Choki.
Okay, so cultists are the ones that are next to Choki.
Oh, just the two cultists are by Choki?
Yep.
Okay,
yep.
So it's... Yeah. No, we're still after the bender because they seem to be a little bit more of a threat.
Okay.
So, yeah, we'll go after.
Okay, so you've got one that's tripped over and the other one that is kind of stunned and reeling.
We'll go for the one that's stunned and reeling. And
okay.
as we seize the position, we'll slash forward with the sword and whip of flames will just kind of go across towards them.
Excellent. Passion or focus? It's up to you.
Focus.
Focus.
Man, one of these days I'm going to roll good. Got 7 altogether.
That's enough. 7 is a success. So you're going to be marking off 2 points of fatigue on this guy for a sword and flame attack.
Mm-hmm.
And you're now in a position to follow up. So we come full circle back to Choki, surrounded by 2 cultists.
Right, and you said I couldn't do strike.
You cannot take the strike action.
That's fine. I'm just gonna go back with retaliate again. See.
Okay, so one of them is going to be seizing a position, and the other one is going to be smashing.
Okay.
So, roll your dice.
7 plus 2, 9.
Okay, I rolled a 4 and a 7. So you are going to easily be able to retaliate. Each time a foe inflicts a fatigue condition or shifts your balance, you inflict 1 on that foe. So the smash would be marking 1 fatigue off you. So he in turn takes 1 fatigue from your retaliation. And the Caesar position tries to kind of reposition himself, but just can't manage it because you're too strong.
Okay. So as labor, I'm just gonna, use my staff and sort of redirect the attack back at the occultist.
Yeah, brilliant. So they're attacking with spears. So yeah, I think you're just knocking their spears aside and cracking them on the back of the head as they come in. Next would be Kai.
Yes. So there is now 2 cultists still.
So you have 2 cultists, 2 airbenders. One of the airbenders is looking pretty beaten up, and one of the cultists is looking very beaten up.
Okay. I am going to let's see. It's all on different pages. Sorry about that. Yeah, I'm going to smash as I slam my fists into the ground and try to rip open the earth underneath our enemies.
Hey, what, the 2 benders?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, well, one of them was taking the ready action, and the other one is going to be fighting against Nico, so isn't going to get any chance to defend themselves against this. So the ready action is to try and remove the off-balance condition, which they succeed in doing. So roll your dice to try and disrupt the very earth they are standing on.
I'm sorry. I can't really see it. That's 2 6s, so that's 12 plus. Yeah, I guess plus 2 for. It doesn't really say what I use for that in stats.
It's passion.
But passion, so that's a plus 2, and if it's force, then it's a plus 1, so that's a 15
It's passion,
total.
so it's a yeah.
Yeah.
Super excited. Nico forgets that underneath him is only soft clay, where he's used to shaping dense, hard stone.
Oh yeah, Kai. Yeah.
Kai, sorry. Yeah, he's used to shaping dense, hard stone. So he pulls from underneath where both airbenders are standing and just drags them straight through down a tunnel about 50 feet down. So there are just two small holes where the airbenders were.
Well, that's solved.
Which leaves Nico without any airbender to attack, because you've just sort of slashed past him and then suddenly they've just plopped down into the earth. But there are still two cultists attacking Choki.
Yep. We are going to again seize a position against one of the cultists.
Yep.
We'll go after one that's not as beat up. We'll try to go whip some fire at him from my sword.
Go for it.
It's another 7.
Yeah. So that is more than enough for a cultist. And you go flying past them, sword ignites, and just buries itself into this cultist. And he goes down like a rock. Which brings us back to Choki.
Let's see here. They're not pressuring me anymore?
No, there is one left, and he is looking absolutely terrified that his friend has a flaming sword sticking out of him.
Alright, I'm gonna bring up my staff above my head and like swing it down with the force of the air behind it and just try to do a strike.
Okay.
Let's see.
So, the cultist was trying to seize a position, and that position he's trying to seize is run away. So, that he fails at quite spectacularly with a 3 on the dice. So all you need is a success.
Okay. That is 13.
So, I think having seen the battle ensue, blood is now pumping, and you just swing that staff down as he turns and just crack it across the back of his neck, and down he goes. Ouch.
I hope I didn't kill him.
Oh, I think you did.
Whoops.
Quite spectacularly, I would suggest.
I've never killed anyone before.
So to recap, we've managed to entomb 2 airbenders in clay and just ruin 2 cultists, which is going to make interrogation interesting.
Wait, we were supposed to interrogate them?
Hey, are they still breathing down there?
No. They've just been dragged through clay.
Kai, can you see if you can bring them up before they...
At least they're head.
Ooh, I mean, I wouldn't bring them up anymore. I'm pretty sure that...
It hasn't been that long.
You might be able to get some information out of them.
Just what? Which pieces would you like to bring up first?
Okay, let's just say I put I kneeled down and put my hand on the earth and just sort of try to sense through the vibrations whether it's still possible to bring them up alive. Like I'm assuming not, but just to please.
Okay, well, if they're not alive, then maybe.
I wasn't trying to
don't worry about it, but maybe we can see if there's anything on their person, like any document or something.
Yeah, okay, but it's not going to be pretty. And
No.
Play with blade.
I try to bring them up through the mud.
Okay, so you raise the mud. Well, do you want to give me a rely on skills and training first for a roll?
Yeah. So
Not gonna-
can I use the walls can't hold me for this?
Yes. Why not?
Okay. Then it's with passion. So that's 5 plus 3 is 8.
Okay, so you succeed in.
Like, I'm sorry. Just to be sure, can I use the force on the +1 for force on anything, or only when it makes sense? Like, I don't really know. Like, it's not directly coupled to any of the stats. I think it's like a bonus that you can add in.
Haven't been able to work that out. The only thing I can think of is you can just add it in combat.
Or whenever you're doing something that
Yeah, or when
needs
you
force.
earthbending that requires that.
Yeah, alright.
that
In that case, it's 5 plus 3 for 8.
Okay, so you succeed in creating a clay elevator, which brings up the mangled corpse remains of the two airbenders.
Ooh, ah. Oh. Alright,
I guess.
I brought them up for you.
All right, I'm gonna, reluctantly walk over there, like trying to shield my eyes, and see if I can rifle through their robes and see if there's anything of importance in there.
No, is the answer.
Anything
But-
on these cultists?
I just
You do know-
just slowly let them see. Once I see Choki's disappointed face, I slowly let them sink into the earth again.
Yeah.
Thank you, Guy. That wasn't.
Is there anything on the cultists at all, or no?
Not of any note. But you do know where they came from.
That direction.
Well, I suppose.
Just drag both cultists over to where the airbenders are being dragged down, and unceremoniously just motions towards the earthbender.
Should we make a grave or something, even if they're not good people?
Mm.
Well, you are stood on clay.
Yeah, I just drag my finger. Here lay two unnamed airbenders. I write earthbenders
Individuals
first,
who
and then-
made poor choices.
So that's not going to last very long, but there is a way to make it last quite a long time.
Stone tablet, can you not?
With fire. It's clay, fire, and clay.
And I'm not going to make you roll for that. You're not attacking anything. It's just baking the clay. And it does then. The marks inscribed onto the clay are now inscribed onto a solid tablet where they fell.
And a Voidcast premiere, our first pottery scene in a one shot.
Crimson's great at pottery.
Not terrible with pottery, no.
All right.
So, back on track. Choki is going to be like, we might want to follow that direction, but maybe be more cautious this time around.
Yes.
You want to
So-
carry some clay with you in case you need to just rocket it off in their face again? Because that was great.
Oh yeah, I can, and I put my fists into the earth and sort of put some clay and stone on my arms. So I now walk with two clay/stone covered arms.
Cool.
Suits you.
Great
Is that
idea.
where all the muscles come from?
A chiseled physique.
Yeah.
Quite literally.
He looks like he's hewn out of stone. So chiseled.
So, heading to the east, you move away from the sort of wooded area and come towards much more rolling hills. At the foothill of the sort of second hill that you come to, there's a stream running and a little pond sort of right next to the bottom of the hill, with very sort of marshy banks and some herons just kind of there fishing. What really draws your eye, though, is a brass door 40 feet high set into the side of the hill.
Alright. I guess that's the place we need to go to.
Should we enter through the door? Or...
I mean, that's what doors are for, right?
Well, yes, but people might know if we enter through the door. Perhaps we could make another entrance if the rest of the area is made of stone or earth.
I could definitely create us our own pathway, but usually these sort of places might have some security where there's metal lined throughout the hallways or walls or something.
So I did just tell you it is a large brass door.
Mm-hmm. You can earthbend around the door.
Yeah, that's the idea. But I'm guessing that there might be metal lined in it.
Yeah, I guess we'll
Are there
so-
any markings on this door?
That's a wonderful question. So, there are 4 square indentations on the door, with markings, sort of proud. So, like it's like someone's taken out a square and then left behind markings that stick out within them. These 4 holes all follow round a central mark, and the central mark is a golden disc with the character A inscribed upon it.
Wait a minute.
I hope this wasn't a test.
Well, I know that Avatar Kyoshi can be quite ruthless herself, so I think we're
Yes,
still
but
good if this was a test. But I would feel bad about hitting them, sort of, for a test.
Mhm.
So, is there a way to recover fatigue? Is that something that can happen out of combat, or?
It happens between sessions.
Okay. All right. That's good to know. Then another more practical before we go in. Do we need a?
There was also a basic move. The comfort or support was another way. I don't know if that's like I don't know
That rolls
the
on the
correct way of using
harmony.
it. Yeah, rolls with
yes.
harmony
It's a harmony roll.
is another way of doing it.
Oh yeah.
That's more of a... Yeah, I suppose that, yeah, you can do that, but it's going to take up a lot of resources to do.
Yeah. No, that's fine. I only have
Sort of thing you do if someone's dying.
I only have 1 fatigue, so for now it didn't really matter. anyway, but I have moves that can cost me up to 3 fatigue, and then things go fast, right? So, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Before we go in, do we need a break? This is both
I'm not
in
that
character
tired.
and out of character.
I could do with a comfort break if we're going to take one.
Oh,
Yeah.
If you want to take like an out of game break, that's fine.
Yeah. I would suggest a short 5-minute break. Can even be shorter. Just get something to drink and whatnot. So, thank you all for watching. Stick around. We'll be right back after the break. Enjoy the music and by Stone Golem, who might be Earthbenders themselves, and we'll be right back. And we're back. We find ourselves in front of a giant brass door. Oh, sorry, I thought it was a nice moment for the game master to pick it up and tell us.
Awkward pause.
Sorry, I wasn't listening. No, that's fine. So, you are still in front of a 40-foot brass door. What would you like to do?
There's 4 of these squares, right? Where are those cylinders? One for each.
I got one in.
Yeah.
How high up are these?
They're about 20 foot in the air. Right in the center of the door.
And I'll start scanning the area, making sure there's nobody else tailing us at this point.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a feeling this is what they want, is the door to be opened.
So I can see 2 ways of going about this. One way is we could, create like an earth staircase, which would probably be more stable than another way, which would be me being an airbender. I could try and just, float in that area and just see if, the cylinders can fill those.
Well, I can try and form a staircase towards where the thing. If only Earthbenders could metal bend. That would be. I mean, don't you think that would make sense for an Earthbender to do something like that?
Have you ever tried?
Bender, not Magneto.
Anyway, yeah, try to raise up the ground before us in a sort of sloping staircase kind of way.
Skills and training, then, I would believe.
All right.
Can the walls hold you?
The walls hold me while I'm doing it, you mean? Oh, we could just sort of... I can make an elevator. We just stand there and raise us up into the air. Yeah? Alright. So, since this seems now to be more of a strength feat, can I use the force again? Oh, not the force, but...
If you believe that adding an extra 1 will help...
I have no idea. I just want to know before I roll. That's a 5 and a 2 for 7, plus 2 is 9, and with the extra force would be a 10. So.
Excellent. So, the top substrate is quite solid rock, but then underneath that you're back onto the clay again. So quite moldable, quite pliable. You find it absolutely very easy to make a solid platform that takes you up to the bottom set of the 2 grooves. So you have 2 now which are about 5-6 feet above you, and 2 that are right in front of you.
So you told us that there were these raised elements to it, right?
So now that you're up close, you can see that the square is about 2 inches deep, And then within it, there's about markings which are raised off about an inch. So if you put your hand inside it, you can run your hands over the markings.
Oh, I put my hand in there.
Mhm.
What do I feel? Marking.
Quite sharp brass corners. It's what you feel.
Does it feel like an earth, water, fire, or water insignia?
Not that you recognise of any description.
Wait,
Oh.
what was her? What did she need us to do specifically? Was it just find the layer?
And
she was-
take care of them, right?
She wanted to know what was going on inside and if there was any heretics in there, please capture or kill them.
Yes.
I don't know if they've been touting the name of the avatar.
You know what? I can't feel the what kind of symbol there is, but there is a symbol, right?
There are scratchings and markings, yes.
Yeah. Okay, so
Yeah.
my arms are still covered in clay, so I just put my hand on there, make the clay soft, and retract my hand and see what's in the clay.
Okay, so it looks very similar now that it's in relief to the markings that are on the cylinder tubes.
Right. Any of them or a specific one?
That depends on which one you put your hand in.
So
you've got a choice.
There's two there, right? So
you've got top left, top right, bottom left, bottom right.
So bottom left.
It looks like the earth cylinder.
Ooh. All right. This looks like the earth cylinder.
So are we both up there, or is it just
Everyone
him?
is
I
up
forget.
there. Everyone.
Okay.
I took us all up.
The two of you
Okay.
were up on the staircase. I'm down, keeping an eye out for any potential
correct.
Ah, okay. So we're both
potential
up there.
problems
Yeah,
that might try to
okay.
run after us.
Okay. Okay.
So okay, I get like I hold up the cylinder to Kai. I'm like, this one?
Yeah. And I take it from Choki and try to
Okay.
jam it in.
So it'll fit that way,
Okay.
and it will also fit that way.
Okay. What do you think?
Yeah, let's try vertical first. See what happens.
All right. Jam in for the two.
Nothing happens.
We got three others, right?
Yeah.
So just to be clear, you've got square holes, and your thought is to put cylinders inside those holes.
Well, I mean, to be fair, I'm not picturing Kai and as a rocket scientist of any sort. So, yeah, I would definitely try to do that.
So we're clear.
Yeah, and I don't know. We're trying something, right? Trying to make progress.
So let's try and figure out what the others are. So I for every hole, I just soften the clay a bit and see if we can figure out what the
So top left, fire.
fire,
Top right, air.
air.
Bottom right, water.
Yeah.
Bottom left, earth.
Yeah, fire, air, earth, water. Fire, earth, water. Okay. I just cram all the cylinders in their respective holes.
It has no effect.
I just realized that this one shot was going to be so different if Shanks were here with all the cylinders and the putting them in holes and
Oh,
So, I think we can start using some things to our advantage. So you have the ability to assess the situation and take the help action.
I guess I can try assessing things. What is that?
Okay.
Use your brain, Jody.
Creativity, and I have -1 to that. Not gonna happen. That's total of 3.
Yes, so I think we're still shoving cylinders into square holes.
what's taking so long up there?
I'm not good at puzzles.
So, how did we create gravestones?
Fire. Play fire.
I mean, we could try and bend elements in the respective holes.
Okay.
Okay, you want to start with the bending earth in the what was it, bottom left?
Yeah, sure.
So what are you going to do?
I'm going to fill up the hole with earth.
Okay. So, you fill the hole with earth, and you hear something inside click. But then as the earth starts to sleep away from it, you hear the click go back.
It's a timed mechanism, perhaps.
Okay.
And we only have 3 benders here. Do we need to bring some water?
Sorry about everyone at home listening.
My question is, if it's an element, wouldn't the airlock be always open?
Maybe. Then what's the point of airbending? Can you craft a simple bowl to carry water in to see if we can activate the water portion with that?
I spit into the hole that represents water.
Okay, that has no effect.
Oh.
Are the dragon moose with us?
Yes.
Okay. What do you guys need up there?
Fire.
A brain.
Okay.
Brain. We need
We
that
need-
too.
Oh, what else?
We need intelligence up. We need puzzle solving intelligence up here.
Okay, yeah, Did the cylinders not work?
No.
So what we know so far,
Cylinders and squares don't go together.
there's 2 things we know so far. The cylinders will fit in both that way and that way, and have seemingly the corresponding markings. Yep. You also know that if you fill one of them up with earth, you hear a lock click, but then as the earth drains out of it, the lock clicks back.
I can just shape the stone to remain in there, right? If that's the thing. So it doesn't doesn't go down or anything.
You can try that?
I'll try that. Yeah, sure. So
Okay.
I shape a brick that completely fits in that hole. Exactly.
Made out of the clay.
Made out of.
You hear the first lock click.
Have you tried that in all the holes?
Okay, now we just need to get enough spit and sweat to fill that water hole.
Can you try just more, maybe just like how would water activate it? I don't know.
I'm just thinking of the scene in The Fifth Element.
It's not that.
You did.
Right.
It's not that. Yeah.
Try
Maybe
more.
try to make it. Yeah. You could just try filling all the holes with clay and stone.
Sure, I try that. I'll try the air one first.
Okay, so you fill the air one, and you hear the lock click.
Oh, really? And yeah, I do the fire and the water one as well then.
Okay, so all the locks click, and you see the A symbol in the center tries to turn, but can't. Comes back to the top, and something pops all of the 4 clay plugs out. And they splat onto the floor next to you, and you can now see that they've got the raised markings which match what was on the cylinders.
Right.
So,
Okay.
is there anything you know about that marking in the center?
It's the A of the avatar uses all 4 elements, not just rock.
So what's the avatar cycle? I'd like to point out at this point to chat that I've watched exactly 4 episodes of Avatar.
Yeah. So it's
Have you seen those episodes?
it's earth, fire, water, air, or air, water.
You sure? Anybody in chat like to put down the order?
Was on the bottom left. Or maybe it was just going
Yeah,
from the
but
top
I mean
left.
we're currently in earth. That's why I started with earth. So the next one would be fire, and then air, and then water. Why are you
Okay,
shaking
so
your head
let's
in no?
let's-
Ash.
so
I'm shaking my head at chat because they're getting it wrong.
No, it's earth, fire, air, water.
Not according
Okay,
to
so-
the Avatar wiki page. It's not.
What? It should be. It's Kiyoshi, Roku, and then it's Aang, and after Aang came Korra. So and before Aang, it was Roku. So that's fire, air, water right there. Which
okay, so what was the first Avatar's element?
First Avatar's element was more of a spirit thing, right? He was aligned with the spirit world more, and there got all 4 elements by talking.
But he started with fire.
Turtle dragons.
So okay,
Yeah, he started with
let's
fire.
just back
Okay,
to the game.
okay. Yeah, sorry.
So I'm gonna ignore, like, so thinking about this, right? The A can't turn because of the stone, right, in the way, possibly. That's what I'm. Okay, so you're bending clay, right? Earth. We can make the clay hot with fire.
Yeah.
We can use water to,
Well, I mean, clay
Make it
basically has
softer.
water in it. Basically, clay has water in it, right? Basically, that's why you really.
I'm just trying to come up with an
Yeah.
idea that would use all the elements,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
So maybe water would make the clay softer,
Yes.
and then
sure.
air could use it to brush it away.
Are these stones here? Are they actual stone, or are they still a bit more clay than stone? The ones that have landed on the ground right by me.
They're sort of clay.
Torch them. Get them set in the way they are That way I can compare them to the
So
cylinders.
you've turned them into stone tablets,
Yep.
which now have the indentations and the markings.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All right, you want us to try those? If you can just throw them up, and then we'll try fitting those.
Yep.
in.
I know how to throw rocks really well.
Oh, I can bring him up. And are you serious? Or was that sarcasm?
It'd be a lot easier if you come get them.
Okay,
They're
I just
thunder after all.
I just raised the ground up until they reach our. And
Double
then,
skate. Nobody's watching us.
And
Make
then
a
we-
fool of ourselves.
I think they know we're here if they were keeping watch of this gate. But I'm trying to fit those tablets in their correct position.
Okay. What order are you putting them in?
Well, I mean, you start left, right, or left top, and then go right, and then bottom left, bottom right. So that's. You told us that was fire, water, earth, air.
Would be fire, air,
Yeah, fire,
earth, water is
Fire,
what you've
air.
just put them in.
Yeah, fire, air, earth, water. Sure.
Okay.
Close.
Close enough. So
we got this
I-
so perfect, though. We get it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, you insert the keys in the avatar cycle.
Yeah. Okay. So then, so if we start at the current one, it would be earth, and then fire, and then air, and then water.
Just think of the intro to the silly show, and you're fine. Just go with that order.
So, you insert the keys, and the central avatar logo does a complete 360 spin, and the door starts to grind down into the floor, revealing a chamber behind. And from behind you, you can hear quite sarcastic clapping.
Okay. I will lower the sort of pedestal that I made, so we're on ground level.
Okay. And as you lower the pedestal and turn around, you are facing a woman of indeterminate age with purple hair and purple eyes, but now wearing the robes of an airbender.
We've been had.
So we're not working for the
surprised.
avatar.
Standing behind her are 5 fanatics and 2 more airbenders. And she calls out to you. Thank you for doing Shou Yuan's work for her. Now we can destroy the avatar, and airbenders will be supreme amongst all.
Not if I can help it.
Can at this point can we use moves?
What I'm going to say is, you guys are going to decide which order you go in now, because we're going into a pitched battle. So it'll be up to you to decide who wants to go first, second, and third,
Okay.
but you will remain in that order.
Okay. Well, since I'm an earthbender, and I do have a ability or a move called Stand and Fight, which can provoke enemies, sort of. I could go first and try that. Is do you have any abilities where you would go like, yeah, no, we start off with this? Like if you have some sort of air or fire ability or thing you can think of where it might
My
be...
ability is to protect others.
So you're gonna get at least a thing to do before the battle starts.
Okay,
If you want
so
to.
we're gonna do that. Can I try meditating or?
Sorry, say that again.
If we got a thing that we can do before the fight gets moving, can I try meditating right off the bat?
Yes, you certainly can meditate straight off the bat.
Sweet.
Hmm.
No, we're plus
Can
one.
I-
All right. So we're getting that.
Can I bolster Kai?
You certainly can. So that is your ability, yes?
No, that's just under evade and observe under either bolster or hinder.
Ah, okay, yep. I've got you.
So, if I'm reading that correctly, it says under evade and observe, it says clear 1 fatigue and then roll.
Bolster. Yes.
Okay, so that's nice. I can clear fatigue. So do I just roll and see? Or
Yeah, and then roll to see on creativity or harmony. Take your pick.
Creativity, I got a +1 on that.
Mhm.
Not gonna happen. That's like a 3.
All right, so this sort of free action that we get right now, right? Sort of. Is that what we're doing? And you're bolstering me?
Yeah, I didn't
Yes.
do it very well. I failed.
Okay, but
miserably.
let's just say that I punch my hands into the earth and all the earth starts forming around me as a sort of stone golem-esque armor is now around me, and I ready myself for a attack.
Excellent. So, who is going to be going first?
Do you have any abilities that would require you to go first?
You go first.
No.
I'll take second.
Okay. In that case, I will use my stand and fight move.
Okay.
So I provoke an NPC, and I will provoke what was it, Shaolin?
Shoyun. Yep.
Shoyun. Yeah. And provoke an NPC opponent into attacking me. I roll with passion. On a hit, they're coming at me specifically, and on a 10+, I'm ready for them. Clear a condition or clear 2 fatigue. On a miss, they take advantage. But also, I just used the ready action, which caused me to cross off another fatigue.
Yep.
Right? And would give you some sort of, or myself, the prepared bonus, or
yes.
you a negative effect.
Well, it's either you impair me or prepare yourself.
Yeah, okay, so I prepare myself.
Okay. She was going to try and seize the position by taking up her kite and flying up into the air,
Right.
where she fights best. So, if you are able to successfully goad her into a fight, that may well change where she ends up. So, would you like to roll?
Yes.
I will to roll. And I was just successful, so
That's an 11. I would feel bad were I not kicking ass.
Don't
so
feel
much. So that's a 5 and a 6 plus 3 for 14 in total.
excellent, which is more than what I've got, but I did succeed. So she is successfully goaded into attacking you and only you, but also succeeds in taking flight, and so is now hovering about 10 feet above you.
All right. I clear off 2 fatigue because I succeeded on a 10.
Excellent. Go for it. Who is next?
That's me.
Okay.
Okay, so how many other individuals do we have around us?
Right, there are 2 airbenders and 5 fanatics.
Mm-hmm. So we are going to seize a position and engage one of the airbenders that are still grounded and try to keep them that way.
Okay,
Blade
the
ignites,
2
and we just move
airbenders.
in.
The
Yeah.
2 airbenders were going to do ready and pressure. So
Mhm.
one of them was going to try and prepare themselves, and the other one was going to try and intimidate you as you come towards them.
All right. Flame
And
sword.
they're going to try and remove your strike ability. So if you'd like to roll,
Oof. Not good.
More, get better dice.
Yeah, I might switch them out here in a moment. They were doing fine at the beginning of the show, then all of a sudden in fights they just sucked. I got a 5.
okay, so 5 is not successful. The ready was also not successful, but the pressure was. So they've managed to wrong foot you, and you are not allowed to take the strike action next turn.
Okay,
So they successfully goad you.
just kind of.
And then over to Choki.
All right. Gosh. No. Okay, I'll probably just. Yeah, I'm. Choki is gonna get upset that Earthbenders are trying to do bad things.
Okay.
So, like Dave was suggesting, I'm gonna form a ball of air with my hands, and I'm gonna go with the basic strike. Let's see.
Against who, sorry?
Purple hair lady.
Okay, so she is going to be able to use her ability. So she is going to use the ability that I created for her, which I'm really excited about, which is Acrobatic Maneuver.
Wait, is that a thing that we could have done?
Yes. So, Acrobatic Maneuver, which, as someone tries to attack her with air, she's able to sort of use the currents to her advantage and gain a bonus on the next attack as she swoops and dives. So she's going to try and do that as you try and fire a ball at her.
Alright, so just roll and see what happens.
Yes, please.
No, 6. Not gonna happen.
Which is better than my 5. But unfortunately, the attack doesn't actually go through.
Yeah,
nothing
okay, so
happens.
it's the ball just,
But because I tried, I lose a point of fatigue.
Great. That's
High
that's
risk,
good.
high reward, unfortunately.
Yeah. All right. That's awesome.
So,
Do I notice her, trying to do that?
yes, you would have done. You would have seen that she tries to sort of
Okay.
move the kite a little in a kind of odd way. Which leaves me with 5 fanatics who see in front of them a large stone person and an airbender. So they're all going to charge, seizing the position to surround the pair of you, while the firebender and the airbenders take each other on. And they are successful with an 8. So they surround you and don't get to do much else this turn, but
Okay.
block off your ability to go in and help Nico. So Kai, you're up next.
Right,
All
it
right.
counts, right?
So we are surrounded by
Cultists.
cultists. Our firebender, Nico, is fighting airbenders.
Mhm.
There is a purple-haired airbender in the air. Yeah, she remains my target. I yell out to Choki, try to take care of the cultists. But, I mean, you can do whatever you want, of course. Yeah, I will, underneath... so are we in a cave entrance? Is there, like, are there walls?
You're just
Is there a
stood.
ceiling?
No, you're just stood outside of the hill with a big sort of chamber behind you, but you haven't really looked at it.
Yeah, okay, we're not fighting in the chamber. We're fighting outside.
No, we're outside.
From behind.
Yep.
They came from behind. Okay.
Yeah, they couldn't get in either. They couldn't solve the puzzle either.
So right underneath where Xiaoyun is flying, I will just create a pillar of earth that I will slam upwards using my overwhelm ability. So I will throw a punch with all my weight behind it and mark up to 3 fatigue or conditions in any combination to force my opponent to mark that same number of conditions.
So what she's doing is she's swooping and striking. So, if you are successful, you are going to avoid both the strike and the damage that would ensue, and force all the damage that you want to. Should she be successful, she will avoid the pillar and strike you.
Okay. I'm going to try this, see if this works, because it seems like an important roll, right?
Wait, we need to see you roll double 6.
That's a 1 and a 4. But that's not a double 6.
I also rolled a 4.
So
But the other dice was a 6.
5 plus... so I would reach an 8 still. So it would still be a success officially.
I'm starting on a 10 before I add my +2.
Yikes.
Is this where I can avert?
You certainly can, if you decide.
Yes.
So I think you might need to explain to people what that means, because they won't have read your sheet.
So she's, swooping in and trying to hit him with air or something?
Swooping right down, and she's just going to try to smack him with air.
Alright, so I'm going to step in the way and bring up my staff to try and block the blow. So what divert does is it says step into the way of blows intended for allies, and when any ally within reach suffers a blow, I suffer it for them. If I also retaliate, then I also deal an additional 1 fatigue each time.
Awesome.
So, I assume you're going to retaliate as well.
Yeah, I'll retaliate in my turn.
Okay. So, she does 2 points of fatigue to you and knocks you prone.
It's fair.
Because she was attempting to go for a giant stone golem, essentially, and a tiny airbender has jumped in the way. So she was putting a lot of force into that. So 2 fatigue, and you are now impaired, slowed or off balance. So you mark an additional fatigue and get -2 to all physical actions.
So, and what happened to my thing then?
It just you failed to bend.
No, I rolled an 8.
Oh, you rolled an 8. Okay,
yeah,
there's now
5 plus 3 is.
Oh, okay.
So
there's a pillar of clay and rock, but it didn't hit anything.
Okay.
As her action successfully swooped around it.
Yeah. All right.
Okay. That takes us on to Nico's turn.
Yes.
Yeah.
Fighting two airbenders.
Yep. So I am going to do a couple of things here. I'm going to commit, where I'm going to try to recenter myself in the midst of the fray, so I'm not being thrown off balance by these two. I just look at them both and say, if you think this is a true path to glory, you are sadly mistaken. And that way I can try to recover one of my fatigue. And then if they make a move to attack me, I will use their momentum and retaliate against them.
Okay, well, one of them was going to strike, and the other one was going to seize a position.
Mm-hmm.
So which one would you like to retaliate against?
The one that was moving in the strike. So basically, it negates my fatigue using their momentum against them. But
yep.
But now I got to use a retaliation in response to it.
Mm-hmm.
For basically nothing, no extra. Yeah. So if I retaliate, he's got to make a strike against me first, I guess.
Which he misses for a start. So coming in with his staff.
Oh, there we go. I got a 9. Retaliate against his attack. In which case, I will take my flaming sword and just kind of arch it into him as he comes by, and just one fell clean swoop, and then I will just look at the other guy. You should rethink your choices.
Yep. So, one bender is down, and the other bender was taking the Caesar position, which he gets to do, which he succeeds in. And what he does is he opens up his kite and just kind of uses it to launch himself, not into full flight, but he takes a good 15 steps, a good 15 paces back away from you.
So he's disengaging. All right.
Yeah. To then set up for an attack next turn.
Batter up. And
it's over to Choki.
Okay, so I'm gonna ask another question here.
Yep.
Because it's so under combat moves, yes. It says on a 7 to 9 you use 1 basic or master technique, but on a 10+ you use 1 from the list. Is that different than what we're doing, or is that just the same?
Where's that?
It says for PCs, on a 10+, you could choose to basically...
that's if you take a basic combat move. You can just roll for a basic combat move.
Alright, I was lying down on the ground. I'm going to see if there's any way that I can... What's the one? I'm going to see if I can bolster Kai again.
All right. Absolutely. And the 5 cultists are just going to be going to town on a giant stone golem, because they've just seen their leader engage you.
Sure.
Help. That is enough. So that is not. That is. And no. So please mark 2 fatigue off.
Okay.
As they were all trying to stab you with spears.
Okay.
Generally get in the way.
Yeah.
How did the bolster go?
Yeah, I got a 5. And I'm not very creative.
Which is
no, I guess 6, because I have a 0 on harmony, but that's still not enough.
But you still do get to clear the fatigue for trying.
Okay.
That's your
and
own
we're
fatigue,
back.
right?
And we're back to Kai. Yes.
Oh, Kai, at this point, there's 5 people slamming into him. There's still this annoying airbender, purple-haired airbender that tried to attack me, but then attacked my newfound friend Choki, and I'm just super angry, and I'm going to try and overwhelm her again. As I just from behind the rock face where the brass door is in, I just try to rip as much material as I can from the rock and the earth and just throw it all in like these jagged spikes of rock towards her as I try to overwhelm her again.
Okay, so she's going to try and seize a position to try and get out of the way of this.
That's a 9.
And that is a 6. So I don't succeed on getting out of the way.
Alright, I will mark off 3 fatigue and or conditions, and I will mark off 1 fatigue. I will mark off angry, because that's what I am. And I will mark off foolish, because also that's what I am. And I want you to mark off 3 conditions as well. You can't mark off fatigue, you just mark off conditions, if I read
just conditions?
Yeah, if I read correctly.
Cool.
Yeah, I force your opponent to mark the same number of conditions, but not fatigue.
Oh. So I get, if I check my notes, angry, foolish, and insecure, I think is what I get.
Alright. So she now has -2 to comfort and support in assessing situations, -2 to trick and resist shifting balance, and -2 to plead, rely on skills and training. So that might be important for us to know.
And we're back to Nico, facing off against an airbender 15 feet away.
Yeah, this airbender, if I understand his movements, he's going to be coming at me, so I just ready a retaliation strike. Ready to retaliate, I believe is how...
Okay. The airbender
as soon as he gets nearby, just flame strike him.
The airbender was performing a very complicated kata maneuver and suddenly accelerates towards you on a jet of air, arms outstretched, staff up to perform a mighty blow.
Just clashing straight into it.
Yeah.
Rip them apart.
I got a 7.
2. I think I'm understanding why the Fire Nation won.
Ho, ho, ho. Wait, what? Spoiler alert.
If you guys haven't seen the show by now, you really should do yourself a favor, jump on Netflix and watch the darn show.
It's
both
not,
shows are really good.
It's not even the show. It's like before the show. Like you start off with the Fire Nation basically won.
I was about to say it's 1 minute.
Almost.
It's 1 minute into episode 1. Knock yourself out.
Anyway, and a clean cut, I'm assuming.
You pretty much cut the person in half.
Yeah, I told you to make better choices. Focus is going to be on clipping the wings of the other individual flying around.
I wonder if the others are afraid after seeing this.
They might be after he's watching the 2 airbenders just get diced back to back.
I'm seeing their leader visibly shaken by a hail of rock and stone.
Yeah, well, their leader is wobbling at the moment and is actually probably not going to be airborne for much longer. So that
Good
might
to
have
know.
an effect. On to Choki.
Gosh, was there something I could? I think was seize. Was that the one to get out of?
Seize a position. Yep, you can move to a new location, disengage.
Or, so I think it said something about a status effect too, right?
The ready was to remove the status
Overcome a
effect.
negative or overcome a negative status or danger.
Yes, overcome a negative status or danger, establish an
Yep.
advantageous position.
So
Yep,
I'm gonna
yep.
see if I can overcome, just get up. I guess get rid of that. What was
Yep.
the status that I had?
You are impaired.
Impaired.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the cultists have just seen their leader get wrecked and seen 2 airbenders get sliced and diced by a firebender. So
Oh no, great. So 4, 6. Again, not a success.
no. But 3 of the cultists disengage and start running as fast and as far away as possible from the firebender and the stone golem. 2, however, do make strikes against the stone golem, and one of them succeeds.
Okay, I can block that too. All
Okay.
right, I can react with that.
You certainly can.
Awesome.
Although you have a -2 to all physical actions.
Yeah, but this is just a reaction sort of thing, right? Do I roll for that?
You're bending
Yes, because
air.
you're still blocking, aren't you?
Okay, yeah.
So it'll be a -2 because you're on the floor, but you can certainly try.
Is this just a straight roll then?
What is it normally?
Well, it says defend and respond, so I
Yeah,
guess
so it'll be a defender maneuver, so you'd be rolling on focus.
All right. Hope for the best. No, that's not a success.
I
love
appreciate the effort though.
the effort out of our group.
I'm trying.
So Kai does take an extra point of
Fatigue.
fatigue.
Yeah.
But then it is between Kai and Xiao Yun.
Yeah.
So Xiao Yun's glider has taken a massive pounding. What are you going to do?
She is still in the air.
She is now swooping as fast as she can towards you.
She's swooping as fast as she can towards me. Oh, yeah, I totally want to be ready for her. So how would that be in this game?
Yeah, basically, you're just say you're going to set up and wait for her to come in and retaliate.
Yeah, I'm going to
Yeah,
see.
it's because then you're just pretty much clashing with the direct attack to her attack. That's what I've done for the past couple of turns. Worked out pretty well.
Yeah.
So she's swooping down.
I'm going to use retaliate. I'm really preparing myself to sort of try and catch her as she's almost within distance and try to turn her attack into an attack from you too.
Okay, so she's swooping down, and as she gets to within about 5 feet of you, she collapses her glider into her staff and has it directly out in front of her like a lance coming straight for you with a strike with additional force. So a hammer blow.
Oh, out of frame.
We're not seeing that. There you
It's
go.
a 6
Oh
and,
gosh!
it's a 6 and a 1. So that's a
Nice.
7. plus whatever I need to plus. That's focus. Oh yeah, I'm not very good at focus. Oh wait, no, one thing. So you want me to add everything up? So focus is
Yes.
a -1, so that would make it a 6. But this could be considered a force thing. I'm trying to really catch her and try to divert the rock and everything, and try to turn this attack around. So that by the Game Master's grace, that would give me a +1, which would bring it back
Be a
to
7, which is a success. Which is fine, because I rolled a 3.
Nice.
So I think you just catch the staff and do whatever you want with me.
Oh, I call the stone to grab the staff, and it basically just sort of circles around me and then slams into the rock face behind me with her in it. Yeah.
So the thing is, with my negatives, I failed so superbly. I'm gonna mark off that much damage and be incapacitated, so impaired, as I've been slammed into the floor. So I'm really not in a good spot. Nico, what are you going to do next?
2 cultists still remain.
2 cultists remain, 3 are running.
Seize the position. Drop in and just swing away.
And so they are going to take the Caesar position as well, because they are disengaging and running. But if you want to try and cut one down, by all means, go for it.
I will send fire after their sorry arses.
Okay.
Just slash a fire into them and make sure they get the point of not returning.
When in doubt, fireball it out.
Yeah, 7.
Well, one rolled a 9 and one rolled a 2. So I believe one of them is now a fireball.
One of them's got a burnt. He's got a burnt tuckus is what he got.
And the other one is running after his friends. Over
You
to
didn't kill her,
Choki.
did you?
Yeah, I'm gonna try to seize a position again to get rid of that status effect.
Go for it.
Okay, good numbers, good numbers. I got 2 6s, so do I win?
That is correct.
Numbers.
That's what you want.
I think that was what was it defend? Right? I think it was, yeah, that's a defend, so that's the total of 14.
Yeah. You absolutely do what you want to do.
I stand up and I'm not prone anymore. I think is what we flavored it as.
Back to Kai.
Oh,
Are we still in a combat scenario?
Kai is angry. Kai is foolish. Kai makes use of her incapacitated state right now to just let the rock swallow her. And I make a punching move, and she just disappears into the rock.
Oh,
Roll for that?
Yeah.
wait, she can answer to the avatar.
It's a 1 and a 4 is 5 plus 3 is 8.
That
He's
absolutely
pretty
happens.
He's
She goes about. Pardon?
No, I was going to say, because Crimson was saying...
It was the avatar could have dealt with that one.
I mean, I've both the angry and the foolish conditions marked, so I
and
think
can't you clear
not...
those by doing something along these lines?
Well, I mean, I think that Crimson Rockstar could try and use that help and comfort thing, right? Maybe to...
Well, Nico's going to just try to argue that logic would be better here versus your silliness of trying to bury her.
Rage.
Yeah. So I think
I
there's
understand you're upset, but like the heat of battle is done.
No, so you're foolish, right?
Yeah.
And clearing foolish is take a foolhardy action without talking to your companions.
Is that true?
Yes, that's
You
in
see
the
that
rules.
What a
see that-
bit like taking a giant thing of rock and smashing your opponent through a wall.
So that would have cleared the foolishness, and then I'm still angry. But I think that with the comfort thing, you can sort of get the anger away,
Easy.
but you can also throw me off balance, I think.
Yeah,
Which-
it will catch you before you actually commit to burying her. It's like, no. We've
So does he have
we
rules
have
for
her.
that?
Sure, I'll roll for it. I don't care. If it's to help restrain an ally and make sure she answers her crimes to the proper authority, which is
Alright.
the Avatar. What's bonus am I using for this?
Harmony is comfort or support.
Yes, so be
Yeah.
Right.
creativity or support.
I have no idea. Let's see here. I guess it'd be harmony. Then I still have to factor my fatigue into this, right?
You
not
clear
your
one
fatigue if
fatigue.
you have-
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So I got an 8.
Okay, that's enough to clear a condition.
Trying to stop him from just straight up burying her.
Yeah, I'm just reading something because I just think it's a cool thing that this rule set offers that we haven't been using, and I think it would be really fit the situation. So I'm just reading this. Because okay, so it's a lot to read, but what I was thinking of is that this anger and acting in anger versus acting with thought is very much my character's balance situation, right? So I'm on the side of force right now, and I think by doing what you're doing, I don't know exactly how it works, so we'll just make this happen. You throw me off balance. Because you remind me of the one person who taught me that you need to keep a level head and stuff. This throws me off balance, which shifts my balance back to the exact center point. And I sort of drop my hands, and which causes, like, right before it gets swallowed, she actually gets pushed out of the rock and falls onto the floor beneath the mountain. And I'm just looking at my hands at the moment.
So, while all this has been going on, we haven't discussed what's been happening inside the cave.
More enemies.
I mean,
I don't even
So-
like. So were they actually cultists that attacked us? If they
Who are Airbender
This-
cultists? Yeah.
yeah,
so wait,
they were fanatics.
they were. Doesn't make any sense. I'm still confused.
All right.
So, the rock face, well, the hill that's opened up in front of you. Inside, you can hear running water. You can see a stone bridge leading down into the dark. And 2 torches burning either side of the stone bridge. And you can hear the sound of whistling wind as though passing through some tunnels. Out of the darkness, up onto the bridge, comes a quite slight, elderly lady wearing an orange robe and bearing very subtle airbender tattoos just on the backs of her hands. She pulls down the robe and kind of looks quizzically out and takes a ball of fire in her hand and comes out and just kind of inspects the person now sort of half cemented into the rock. Takes in you three, closes her hand, and then moves the earth away from the person there, and sort of, I think you might have some explaining to do. And I think that's where we'll end the session.
Oh no, cliffhanger!
Oh.
Ooh.
Rude cliffhanger.
Okay,
Rude cliffhanger.
okay.
You got no. I don't know what's going on.
Me neither. Who is this
I
person?
think
This
that
person
was the
can
point.
bend earth and fire. Who do you think it is? Who do you think it is?
Well, I know Kiyoshi, and I mean, I know.
Are we in Kiyoshi's era or the time frame just before Kiyoshi?
Salai, actually, is the avatar at this time.
Sorry, the
Oh, gosh.
Salai is the avatar.
so
she was
it's
in.
not Kiyoshi.
It's not Kyoshi. It's Salai.
Okay.
I thought we were in Kiyoshi's era. So we're just
Cakes.
before Kiyoshi.
Me
Alright.
too. I thought we were in Kiyoshi's era.
That
All right.
makes more sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Some choices might have. We're heading into a rash direction with Kiyoshi anyway. We're not far off the mark.
Yeah. You never rectified us. I mean, I said we were in Kiyoshi area a couple of times. I think.
I thought, yeah.
I missed it.
Okay. Well,
So, would you like to know how to really get into the temple?
wow. Yes. Well, I think yes. Let's talk
I
about.
remember, puzzles never work. Okay.
So how
Any
do we?
DM out there, if you're watching, puzzles don't work.
Yeah. How
So
do,
what if I told you that you got the exact way how to do it when you created the gravestone?
yeah. So
Mhm.
so there was.
Mhm.
Yeah. So that's what we did.
My
right?
character was down there, so
But, right, you've got cylinders, yeah,
Yeah.
which make. So what you can do with cylinders, is when you roll them over clay, they make impressions on the clay, right? That's how you make the
Basically,
keys.
cylinders make the keys.
That's how you make the keys.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yes.
So
yeah.
water and earth would make the keys.
Mhm.
Fire would bake them, and then you could slot them into position using air, and that's how you enter the Avatar Temple.
Yes, but also you don't need the cylinder keys because you can make imprints in clay.
That's correct. After 10 minutes of fumbling around, I decided it's absolutely fine for you to just make clay plugs.
I was seriously
I mean-
I was seriously this close to inventing metal bending and just taking that
With
entire
the-
brass
I
door
was
down.
trying to
Man,
prod you into doing it.
Yeah, I know, but I
Nico being at the base of the stairs there just kind of.
I mean, this is a game.
Bad
You don't
spot
have
for
to
me, apparently.
follow canon.
No, that's true.
Nope.
And we don't even know. Maybe metal bending was discovered in that era, and then
Yeah.
that knowledge was lost again. So it could very well have been.
Yeah, very little is known about anything in between, like Salai and a few others. Like, it's just
But I
Blank.
thought metal bending the brass door down would be a bit of a cop out.
Yeah.
They would have been pushing your luck. I would think,
Yeah. Oh,
which is
yeah.
a passion which you're good at.
Yeah, that's true. That's absolutely
Oh.
true.
so. For anyone who's ever doing a D&D puzzle again, cylinders can be rolled over things to make
No,
impressions.
yeah, but that's already you are no, just no. For anyone doing puzzles in their D&D one shots, just no.
If anybody's doing puzzles, make sure the character who thinks logically is next to the puzzle.
Or dead, yes.
Says the character who decided not to go to the puzzle.
Yes.
Well, somebody had to watch their backs.
Try and drop as many hints. Like when you found the place originally, there's the impressions already on the floor.
I just want to say for the record that I knew the solution to this problem the whole time, but I was just role-playing my character, who obviously wouldn't know the solution. So, just for the record.
Sure. So I think what you alluded to in the thing, there is so much in this little system to add in that we didn't even get close to.
No.
Like the balance mechanics, it's a lot of fun, but it's quite. I think you have to be quite in depth with it. Like there's a lot left to the role. It's not a game for beginners. A lot of the character creation is left to your imagination.
I can totally imagine that if you know all the different actions that you can take in your turn, that it really becomes this sort of super complex, elaborate rock, paper, scissors thing, where people are just like, yeah, I'm preparing for a dodge, and then you have an attack, and everyone knows, like, if you have an attack versus a dodge, then this happens, and if somebody didn't do an attack but try to throw someone off balance versus a dodge or versus an attack, then that happens. And I think you can get all these super cool narrative outcomes.
I think there's some scope here. I don't know. I haven't looked into the Kickstarter, but I think there's definitely some scope here for making up some cards with each of the moves on it.
Yeah.
And laying them face down on the table. And then turning them over.
Yeah, I think that would be really
at the same
cool,
time.
Like
I think that would actually work a lot better for this.
Yeah, it could actually.
Because it sort of, it forces you then to sort of take those direct actions.
Mm.
I think it would, for DMs out there, that would definitely work a lot better in real life, especially because trying to run multiple people.
The way they have this rule system set up, like you could just do an interesting combination of things, just homebrewed on a fly. Like I didn't know beforehand that I was going to firebend on top of swinging weapon around, and just making really cool sequences with that. I was like, that's really neat. You haven't seen that in Avatar too much.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's the cool thing. That's why they don't give you too much descriptions at character creation or if those move. It's basically just these are the sorts of things you can do, and how you do it is up
there's
to you.
not a defined bending rule per se in the game, which is so you just get the flexibility of.
Yeah.
Well, and this is the other thing that we need to remember. This is only the base quick start rules.
Right.
A lot of the bending, a lot of things are supposed to be coming in the supplemental guides. So each of the different regions has its own supplemental guide, and that's what will.
Also, there will be like separate playbooks. So we got now 6 basic playbooks, and I think they will be a bit more elaborate. There will be more of them. There will be more moves. There will be more.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's definitely interesting. I for one backed the Kickstarter, so I can't wait for the actual product to be in my hands and try this again. And I'm very thankful for Ash giving us the opportunity to get together again and continue this crazy one shot and make it a 2-shot, a 3-shot. Maybe we'll be joined by someone else then that would have joined today,
Waterbender.
I don't think that we can convince Shanks to be a waterbender.
No.
Who knows?
Well, if you can get someone to DM, I'll happily waterbend. So
Also
that would be my method of choice anyway. Would always be a waterbender. So
yeah, it makes sense.
I would go for earth or air. That would be my like. I'm always. Usually I go for earth, but there are mornings where I wake up and then go like, no, we'll go airbending.
Mm-hmm.
Child of the water. But yeah, that was Avatar. The Last Airbender, such as it was.
That was awesome, Ash. Thank you so much for this amazing one.
Fun.
So for those of and thanks everyone in chat that was watching. I saw a lot of activity in chat. I couldn't read or react to most of it because we were playing the game, but so awesome that you were all here. If you are a diehard rules nerd, then you might have seen some things that didn't make you happy. Sorry about that. We are mostly playing this just to have fun, and I had a lot of fun today. I absolutely loved it. Thank you so much, Ash. Thank you so much, Crimson Rockstar and Valorant, for joining us tonight. I would be very happy to have you back whenever we can make that work. And yeah, is there anything you guys want to say as we wrap this up?
What's coming up next?
I just wanted to thank Ash for putting all of this together, and Michel for working on the overlay, doing all the stream-related stuff. You know, it's a lot of work. And Crimson, thanks for being able to join us. You know, because you were taking down most of those enemies, and I was just taking the blows.
Yeah, no, they literally just jumping at me, and I'm like, okay, we'll just cut you down with your own momentum, sure.
That was pretty badass.
Like if they would have been passive about it, my guy would have got nerfed real quick. Maybe.
Yeah, and don't sell yourself short, Valorant, because your actions on defending my character really made it all happen. Because I was I only needed one more fatigue to pass out, and because of you, I think you spared me like 3 more fatigue. Like without you, I would have gone down long before. So
that was awesome.
Always pays to have a cleric in play.
Right?
Is he more like a monk?
Yeah.
Aren't we all actually in this universe?
Something like that.
Mike, Michel, do you want to talk about what's coming up on Parallel Projections?
What's coming up on Parallel Projections? Oh, well, what's coming up on Voidcast? Tomorrow, I will probably be live with Jasper and Talking Void, where we talk about tabletop RPGs. And I think the question that we are going to talk about tomorrow is, what is your weirdest or most out there theory about the campaign that you're currently playing? So everyone that's playing currently in a home campaign, what's the most out there theory that you have? And why, probably? Because it's Jasper. I think Jasper is in chat. Maybe you can do the exact wording of the question. But oh, indeed. Well, I was right on the money there. So that's up tomorrow. Then next Monday, we'll be here with our regular D&D 5e campaign, The Precipice of Dreams, where currently we are, us adventurers, are in a mine trying to solve a mystery and find some missing people. It's our 33rd episode, I think, 34th. So that's a long-running campaign, but you can watch all of that on our YouTube channel. And then the next Parallel Projections, we actually don't have a game yet for that one. But the next one planned is Paranoia, DM'd by Ash, which will be in December.
Monday, December the 20th, so just before everyone heads off to Christmas, and trying to see how many people we can get onto one stream to play Paranoia.
So Crimson and Fel, consider this an invitation. Please. If you can make it work, we're just going to try and get as many players as we can, because it's going to be a ridiculous game of Paranoia. I don't know if you know this game. I don't know. It's basically. Do you know Werewolves? The board game. Or Among Us, which is super popular right now. So Paranoia is basically the tabletop variant of Werewolves or Among Us. So it's going to be chaos. Okay. It's going to be crazy. We'll talk more about it. I would be super happy to have you back if we can make it work. And Anything to plug? Otherwise, I'm going to plug you guys. Because
I don't know. I'm wearing tabletop merch right now.
There you go.
Holy
Oh,
West. That's awesome.
I'll buy
sweater.
so much merch from all over the place.
Yeah, I already mentioned that tabletop or Top-Down Tabletop is doing a stream this weekend with Maritime Gamer TV. It says his first stream with us, so
That's awesome.
everybody should tune in and watch that if they can. I know some people are in different time zones and can't always make it.
Tune in and go support Top-Down Tabletop on their or on Maritime Gamer's first stream, not Top-Down Tabletop's first stream. These guys are trained veterans at the moment. Also, go to the Fireside portal. Do you guys actually have a starting date for your first stream?
It's not submitted down quite yet, but we're looking towards end of January.
All
January.
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think I'm going to keep mentioning what the grand prize for that for the
yeah.
challenge is
Please do, because
I
it's
think,
awesome.
Yeah, so because it's a DM challenge, there's going to be 12 episodes plus a final. We score the DMs as we go through, so it'll be out of 40. Chat gets a vote, so the chat will be able to vote on Twitter and influence to get their DM or their favorite DM through to the final. The top 4 go into a final where they switch roles, so they will be the players, and there will be a DM, not yet decided, not yet confirmed, but could be an interesting DM for that final session. And the chat will then pick a winner. And the grand prize winner, in addition to some original art pieces created by the wonderful Vix, will also be receiving a square foot of land in Scotland. And along with that square foot of land will come the title of Lord or Lady.
That's awesome.
Because of some weird Scottish loophole. So you will be able forevermore to declare that you are a Lord or Lady of Scotland. And also, the people we're doing it through plant a tree on that square foot. So it will offset the entire carbon footprint of the stream. So doing a little bit for the environment, doing a little bit for everyone else, and also, if you are interested, please head over to our Discord, get your name on the list, and try to become a Lord or Lady.
That's awesome. I so love this whole concept, and I can't wait for it to go live.
So just a quick question, but where can people find your Discord link at?
They can message me directly if they want to.
I don't know if I have
very easy to find.
But
Ash. You should have every role I have.
I can also I will throw it down in the I will throw down links to Top-Down Tabletop and the Fireside portal in the YouTube video when it drops as well. If you send me a link now, I can join the Discord, but also share it in chat, because I don't know whether I don't.
All right,
I've shared it in chat. I didn't know if I had privilege or not, but I did.
Okay.
Yeah, you should.
I have one right here. Oh, wait. Where have you gone? Yes. Okay. Oh, you already shared it. So, oh my God.
Yeah. So I
thought you were talking about sending it to me. So I didn't know if I have privileges in chat.
So I did.
Crimson Rockstar sent me.
Yep.
Anyway, it's all done. Okay, so go check out that link. Go join the Fireside Portal Discord. Go join the Top-Down Tabletop Discord, which is a lovely community with a lot of lovely people. And go join the Voidcast Discord to stay up to date with everything that we are doing. Check back tomorrow as me and Jasper talk about tabletop RPGs, our campaign, and on the crazy theories that people have on the games that they're currently playing. I think with that, I've said everything that I needed to say or wanted to say. So thank you all for being here tonight, and See you later. Thank you. Bye-bye. And I'm going to throw it to the intro, outro. Bye.